shout out to the Iloilo community.
Yeah, so yeah, they'll be having one next month, but let's
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 focus
go back to that.
Time to
So
focus.
we will be seeing Mangojuice and Destro here. So Destro rocking the Charizard Y and Glimora. Again, the Basculegion, Glimora, and King Gambit core has been
Yeah.
making waves lately, along with the Charizard for as a secondary mega. But we do see Mangojuice here with a Gardevoir, a Trick Room team actually. This looks pretty Trick Room to me.
Oh yeah, Vince, you mentioned sometimes the Glimora has the Focus Sash or the Mega. So what is this Glimora?
Well, it's Focus Sash.
It's Focus.
It's Focus Sash. But we will be seeing the leads here on Destro's side. He is going to be leading that Focus Sash Glimora and that Whimsicott. The thing here is, if your Whimsicott does not have the Focus Sash, then it's on the Glimora. And, well, Whimsicott doesn't exactly want to be caught without a Focus Sash, and that's kind of the thing. The main issue with the regulation has been Pokemon are just constantly battling for which items they want to get on the same team. On the other hand, on Mangojuice's side, he has his Azumarill and Sinistcha out, and Sinistcha here is in a pretty clean position to, you know, well, he's in a clean position to Trick Room, but will Sludge Bomb be taking out either of these? He will be able to set up the Trick Room here, I believe. Yeah, Trick Room will be going up for Mangojuice, allowing him to twist the dimensions. That Azumarill will probably be the fastest thing on the field right now. Sludge Bomb and Moonblast just didn't do enough damage to the opposing team. If Destro there wanted to stop that Trick Room, he should have doubled into the Sinistcha, but, well, there are reasons to also want to take out the Azumarill, because the Azumarill is a major threat, even with just Aqua Jet. Oh, wait.
Oh, the Azumarill seems to be swapped out for King Gambit.
Yeah, thanks Enzo for reminding us. We got a little too hyped with the match there. Yeah, but this Sinistcha on Mangojuice's side will be going for a Matcha Gacha into the Glimora and the Whimsicott. Doesn't do all that much damage, but he did switch out his Azumarill for the King Gambit. Unfortunately, not doing too much there. Sludge Bomb doing nothing into the King Gambit, but the Moonblast with the Whimsicott just pelting this King Gambit in the face, and, well, King Gambit really didn't appreciate that. I believe this Glimora probably has Earth Power. I mean, what most Glimora usually have. Yeah, and it does have Earth Power. Earth Power into the King Gambit should be enough to take it out. But Sinistcha, on the other hand, well, King Gambit is also gonna have to, you know, it's gonna be able to take out the Glimora if it really so wants. But Mangojuice is gonna have to deal with the Toxic Spikes if it has to take out the Glimora here and there with a physical move. Rage Powder coming from the Sinistcha, forcing that Glimora to attack only the Sinistcha. Maybe that's what it wanted to do. Mangojuice will be using Iron Head into the Whimsicott here, but Earth Power, probably targeting into the King Gambit, will be going to the Sinistcha instead. And yeah, it just didn't do enough damage. There are 2 turns of Trick Room left. Destro is doing a pretty good job at managing these Trick Room turns. Fairly low power with both players right now, but yeah. Kowtow Cleave will be coming out from the King Gambit, KOing that Glimora, but Toxic Spice will be landing directly on Mangojuice's side of the field. Matcha Gacha is also going to come from the Whimsicott, healing itself, and yeah, healing itself just ever so slightly. But Moonblast will be coming out of the Whimsicott and into that Sinistcha. A pretty good amount of damage, just not as much as you'd hope for. This Whimsicott looks to be very... It's doing a lot more damage.
Ben, so just a question. Why do you think Mangojuice swapped in that Azumarill?
Well, he probably didn't want to deal with the Glimora, honestly, and he probably wants to deal with something else a little later. And the Whimsicott is kind of an issue for the Azumarill.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, but the thing is, this this Whimsicott just maybe it's just trained a little differently. It's doing numbers. This Whimsicott is
Right.
honestly doing numbers. Though, yeah, okay. It will,
So actually, Vince, this would be the first Whimsicott that did get one
Yes.
hit.
this is the first Whimsicott in this entire tournament on stream that did not get one hit KO'd. Now King Gambit into King Gambit. Violence is
King Gambit into the Sinistra.
yeah. King Gambit into King Gambit violence is something we don't really wanna promote, but I guess that's the only way it has to go. Now Gardevoir will be coming out from Mangojuice's side of the field. It does also have Trick Room up, but will it want to use Trick Room, especially with this King Gambit on Destro's side of the field as well? So Destro can double directly into the Gardevoir here and just prevent it from using Trick Room, but doing that will force his own Whimsicott to go down. Not exactly what you'd want, but then Whimsicott also in a pretty prime position to just... Again, it's doing so much damage. No, the Gardevoir will be Mega Evolving into Mega Gardevoir here. But will it be attacking? Will it be setting up? Not exactly too sure what it wants to do here. Destro Sucker Punching into the King Gambit, probably just to whittle it down. And Moonblast from the Whimsicott going into the Poison Gardevoir. But, okay. Yeah. Pixelate boosted Hyper Voice from Mega Gardevoir was just enough to take out the... Yeah, that just... I'm a loss for words. Ironhead goes into the Mega Gardevoir and just takes it out completely. Little chip damage from the Sucker Punch earlier was nice, but just not enough. But yeah, Mega Gardevoir going down there was a pretty major blow. We do see that Destro did not bring a Mega Evolution Pokemon, but Mangojuice did. I guess he left his Charizard home. And not like he really needed it this much in this match. But yeah, the Azumarill here should be able to... Well, huge power Azumarill is still huge power Azumarill. But Basculation is just huge power Azumarill with less steps. Kind of. I imagine...
I was gonna ask you, Vince, what Azumarill can do because it's the first I've seen. Oh, and the Sucker Punch.
A Sucker Punch normally takes out Basculation there pretty handily, but yeah, the King Gambit hitting into the Azumarill here. Aqua Jet was nice, but it just didn't do enough damage. Azumarill will be consuming his Citrus Berry, healing just a little damage, but before he even finishes slurping up that berry, Destro will be forfeiting Game 1 to Mangojuice, and Mangojuice will be taking the very first game. So, that was an interesting match. Do you have anything to say about that, Jamie?
I'm actually not sure what to say about that match because these interactions, especially Azumarill, is not something common for me.
No, it's Azumarill is usually not very common at all, but it was used pretty well here. I mean, it's a good substitute for Basculation, especially when you want to use a strong water type in Trick Room. But
okay, that makes sense to me that you mentioned that.
yeah,
So it works well with a Trick Room.
normally Azumarill wants a little bit of speed control, and if the speed control is Trick Room, especially against faster teams like the one Destro is using, Azumarill can really put up a pretty big show. It's pretty strong. I mean, again, huge power Azumarill is still something that you don't want to deal with on a regular basis. It's just under Trick Room, that's kind of what he needs. You saw earlier that the King Gambit managed to do a pretty good amount of damage on the Azumarill, but just not enough. It does resist the Kowtow Cleave and any dark moves, but it has to eat up that Iron Head from the King Gambit and survive. In fact, The only thing that can probably one-hit KO this Azumarill is probably the Glimora on Destro's side of the field, so this Azumarill might be a pretty good pick regardless, but it has to be positioned in a way that it can actually hit something, because if it can be doubled into fairly easily. So game 2 will be starting out with Mangojuice having 2 Trick Room setters. Huh. Alright. So there will be 2 Trick Room setters on the field. Whimsicott and Basculegion, Destro side of the field. Unfortunately, Last Respects will not be able to do all that much damage into the Sinistra, even if it's super effective. The boost from Last Respects just doesn't do enough. And if anything, Destro's gonna have to want to bring this Charizard in the back now rather than not having it. I believe, Rage Powder will be coming from the Sinistra. Grass types don't care about that. Moonblast will still be hitting this Oranguru, but Wave Crash will be hitting into the Sinistra. And Trick Room will be going up here, courtesy of this very cute little monkey. This Oranguru uses Trick Room. And like Enzo said in the stream, Destro's gonna want to have his Charizard here in the back deal with the Azumarill. Not just the Azumarill here, but probably to also deal with the King Gambit if he has to. Heat Wave and Solar Beam from the Charizard is gonna bring in a lot of numbers. In fact, it's also gonna be able to do a lot of damage into that Sinistra. But Mangojuice here will be pulling out his Oranguru, seeing that the job has been done, and switches it out directly for his Gardevoir. Matcha Gotcha goes into Whimsicott and Basculegion, but fails to KO either of it, but manages to heal itself back to full. Wave Crash will once again be hitting into the Sinistra, just not doing all too much, but hey, that's almost 50%. Moonblast from the Whimsicott. Again, this Whimsicott is doing a lot of damage. Interestingly, Whimsicott is not known to do all that much damage, but this one appears to be just doing a lot. So maybe it's the Fairy Feather, maybe it's the way it's trained, maybe it's both, but yeah. We should be expecting something here to happen from either of them. The Basculegion locked into Wave Crash. It should be able to take out either the Gardevoir or the Sinistra, provided the Whimsicott will double into the Sinistra. In which case, here, Destro will be switching out his Basculegion for the Glimora here, and Gardevoir on Mangojuice's side of the field will be Mega Evolving. The question is, who's using Trick Room? Will there be a Trick Room this turn?
Well, isn't this Trick Room still up? Or was it?
Oh right, yeah, the Trick Room should still be up.
Oh.
But again, we see just exactly how powerful the Hyper Voice with the Pixelate boost comes from the Mega Gardevoir. That is a spread move that just one-hit KO that little Whimsicott there. The fluffy cotton rabbit just disappears. Oh, interestingly, we do see that this Charizard appears to be a little on the bulkier side based on the HP values, but this is a pretty good position. Destro's not in the worst position here, but this Sinistra, on the other hand, looks like it's gonna it might go down here, either to the Sludge Bomb or the Heat Wave. Either way, this Sinistra is gonna have to do something about it. 2 turns of Trick Room, however, on Mangojuice's side of the field. And this is a pretty good position for Destro right now. Protect will be coming from the Charizard. It will not be Mega Evolving this turn. Matcha Gotcha coming from the Sinistra, doing some damage into the Glimora. Never mind, the Glimora manages to avoid the hit. And the Gardevoir, unfortunately, just... Gardevoir goes for Psychic into the Charizard rather than the Glimora and gets KO'd for it. Now we now know that the final Pokemon Mangojuice side of the field is the King Gambit, but Trick Room is still up. This Sinistra is gonna have to pull something in order to hurt this Charizard. But then again, this Charizard is probably gonna be able to get away with the game provided it just uses Heat Wave here. Heat Wave is
Yeah.
probably all it needs to do, but oh, we do see the Destro is like, okay, no, I'm not doing that. He switches into his Basculegion. Spiky shields the Glimora, probably to force, I don't know, force something. Rage Powder will be coming out from the Sinistra, but not much going on there. Houndhouse Cleave goes into the weakened Basculegion. Actually a pretty good way to stall out this final turn of Trick Room, preserving his own Charizard
Actually, yeah.
for the Twisted Dimensions. Now that the Dimensions have come back up, this Charizard is free to use Heat Wave. Fantastic play there, actually.
Actually, yeah. That was interesting.
Yeah,
So we'll see here how
it's
will Mangojuice be able to set up Trick Room again?
it's
this
very
situation,
unlikely, I think.
right?
But the interesting thing here is the Charizard probably won't care all too much if it goes for a Rage Powder. An interesting switch on Mangojuice's side. He swaps out his Sinistra for his Oranguru, probably in high hopes to just survive the hit, but it's looking a little dicey. Protect coming from the King Gambit, but again, if Heat Wave comes in, he's gonna have to miss the Oranguru here in order to do a little more. Will Heat Wave be enough? No, it is not enough, but
That's an interesting.
the Sludge Bomb just seals the deal here. KOs the Oranguru. That was probably a pretty clean switch in, but Destro here is managing that very well. We do have 4 more turns of Sun, and well, Charizard is gonna be able to just,
Yeah, he'll probably be going first of all.
of course, it's Charizard. No, actually, Glimora is exactly 1 point. No, Mega Glimora is 1 point faster than Charizard, but regular Glimora, not so much. Heat Wave will be taking out the remaining 2 Pokemon on Mangojuice's side of the field, unfortunately. And yeah, that is a double KO with a single Heat Wave. And Mangojuice will not be taking Game 2. The adjustment made by Destro was enough to get him Game 1. So yeah,
Interesting. As always, we see here the power of Charizard.
right.
And I was just like observing how the turns would be navigated this round.
Right.
I was glued.
No, Enzo did say in the chat that he was expecting a Torkoal switch, but I wanted to say something about that. That yeah, I was also expecting a Torkoal switch there, but no, there was none. No such thing happened.
So what adjustment would be best to go against this Charizard? For you, Vince, and Mangojuice's side.
Well, it's a little difficult to say since Charizard kind of handles the team quite well, but Gardevoir hitting it with the Psychic along with the Azumarill there, the 2 Fairy types should be able to deal with the Charizard, but then you have to be very, very wary of that Glimora.
Right.
And, well, I understand that Mangojuice here wants to set up Trick Room as soon as humanly possible, but that might be a little difficult to do, especially with this Whimsicott is just doing so much damage. I just have to constantly comment on it. This Whimsicott is just putting in the work.
So basically, Vince, is it right that Mangojuice's team is more on the hard room?
Yeah, it's fairly hard Trick Room actually. Yeah, we will be seeing the same leads from Mangojuice from Game 1. And Destro will be leading again with Basculegion and Glimora. Rather, this is a fairly solid lead on Destro's side. The Glimora threatens both the Sinistra and the Azumarill. Basculegion, on the other hand, not the best Pokemon to have in this situation, but Well, it can easily just flip turn out, no problem. What say you, Jamie? What's your take on this?
Being a Trick Room player, I would wanna just set it up, right? But as you said, it would be dangerous to just leave these. Oh,
Oh, Rage Powder coming from the Sinistra. There, we will not be seeing Trick Room on turn
Right.
1. Sludge Bomb from the Glimora gets eaten up by the Sinistra. Last Respects also coming from the
so Destro
Yeah.
learning from
Destro, seeing the pattern from game 1 and
Yeah.
2 and goes, yeah, okay, I'm just gonna punch through. But, oh, okay, Belly Drum will be coming from this very, very small Aqueous Rabbit.
So yeah, I've heard about this legendary belly drum. I'm interested to see how Azumarill will fare with this boost.
Yeah, but the thing is, Azumarill still needs the Trick Room up, and
That's true.
there's no Trick Room. And, well, normally King Gambit would wanna kowtow or Sucker Punch directly
Ooh,
into the Basket Legion slot, but we do see Azumarill just punch through this Glimora with a single Aqua Jet. But Glimora now free to just... Yeah, Glimora's gonna be able to Sludge Bomb into the Azumarill here and probably take it out. Yeah,
okay.
the positioning was just not there, I think. Glimora manages to clean up here. That Focus Sash coming in clutch. Now, just because, Mangojuice has lost 2 Pokemon doesn't mean he's out. Gardevoir is still here, and Gardevoir could be a very strong win condition for Mangojuice. Destro, on the other hand, has to be very wary of taking out this particular Pokemon. On the other hand, the King Gambit locks in this Basculegion, forcing it to either switch or protect, and, well, it can't exactly protect. But yeah, it does switch out into his own King Gambit. And Mangojuice's King Gambit probably will be going into a Sucker Punch, but if he goes for a Kowtow into that slot, it's a lot better. Spiky Shield will be coming from the Glimora on Destro's side, preventing it from, getting hurt. But yeah, like I said earlier, the Sucker Punch will be coming from the King Gambit side. From Mangojuice's side, Trick Room will be coming out. Sucker Punch also does nothing into Destro's King Gambit there. Now, the real question is,
Trick Room is not up.
no, Trick Room is up, but is that what you really wanted to do?
Yeah, with the other King Gambit on the field.
With the other King Gambit on the field, able to do that.
Right.
Yeah,
A
that
little
was,
bit of a difficult situation there.
yeah, so I think that might have been it. I think in 3 is going straight to Destro. Glimora will be using Earth Power, taking out over 60% of King Gambit's health there, and just, well, the blue King Gambit is looking a little worse for wear, honestly. Not out, but he's gonna have to fight an extremely uphill battle with, he's not doing great.
So yeah, usually Vince coaches me on how to navigate the Trick Room, right? But you're right, Vince. It was a difficult situation to Trick Room at that moment.
Right. The Trick Room at that moment probably wasn't the best, but, well, the other... Destro's King Gambit manages to trip Mangojuice's King Gambit and take the win. So, Destro will be taking Game 3, winning him the set.
Good game to both players.
Yeah,
Again, first time that we've seen these two play.
yeah.
So we're hoping to see you again in the next midweek smoke.
Right.